Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining into our Highmark webinar. We're going to get a preview of what is going to be selling for 2020. Of course, open enrollment for the under 65 individual market starts 11/1 and runs through 12/15. Highmark has a good story to tell this year for 2020. And with us today, we have Christy McKinney. She's the manager of channel enablement for Highmark, and she's going to be running the program. Before I hand over the controls to her, I just wanted to take a few minutes for those of you not familiar with URL to kind of introduce ourselves and let you know, what we do. We are more than just health insurance. And if you go onto our site, which is urlinsgroup.com, you can learn about our URL, about our partners, our carrier partners, our staff, and testimonials of folks that have used our general agency services. Within our departments, we have several different silos. Annuity Solutions is run by Joe Corio. He's our Senior VP, and that's a lot of wealth transfer or having a monthly income because of some, retirement funds, etc. Joe's having great success. A lot of his clients are in the senior markets. His average client's age is about 57 years old. So that's kind of the target market for annuities. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to Joe and talk to him more about what his ideal client looks like, and therefore you can look for your ideal client to write some annuities or either refer it through our Orion program. Employee benefits and health plan options, of course, is what I oversee, and of course that is everything on the group health side, individual side, and the health plans, and then employee benefits, whether it's ancillary, employer paid or ancillary, voluntary, we handle that as well. Life markets with Steve Clemens, he's the VP for Life Markets, and they have great success in the final expense markets, of course, with the seniors being such a big part of the market. And then, of course, seniors themselves in the Medicare offerings department with Christy Wilbert and Karen McDaniel. So a lot of the folks on the call today are also in the Medicare market. And, this call is specific to the under 65 market. It is being recorded. You'll get a link automatically, so there's no need to take copious notes and try to figure out what the heck's going on. You will get the information sent to you. Also, if you have questions, you can type them into the question box, and I will ask those at the end of the webinar, or you can raise your hand icon, and I'll unmute you, and you can ask your question live. So just before I hand over the controls to Christy, if you can just let me know if you can see my screen and hear me okay with a show of your electronic hands, I would appreciate it. Okay, excellent. I'll put them all down, and then I'm going to hand the controls over to Christy McKinney. Christy, thank you so much for running this program for us today, and take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Deb. And thanks everyone for joining us today. As Deb mentioned, we do have some exciting news to share as we prepare for the 2020 open enrollment period. And, a couple months back, I met with Deb and kind of let her know that, we're planning for a year of growth in 2020. So I'm really happy that we were able to pull this meeting together. It's unfortunate we weren't able to do it live, but this is better than not happening at all. And so we'll get started here. Today, I did want to take you through, first off, my disclaimer here that a lot of this information is still confidential. As you know, it's the middle of October, so we haven't gone to market with our benefits and our rates for these plans. So just a little disclaimer there. Did want to take you through today some general updates on the ACA individual market. Just to share a little bit about my background, I've been with Highmark for, almost 10 years now, and I started when we, in the ACA market, when the Affordable Care Act came out, and we first started planning this portfolio. So I know it's been interesting for me to have been a part of that launch, years ago, leading into the stabilization of the market, and then trying to get out there with a growth strategy again. So it's been pretty exciting to actually be offering some improved plans and an improved portfolio for next year that we'll talk more about. So then we'll specifically get into Central and Northeastern Pennsylvania updates for you all. I know that's the area that you focus in. And then we'll talk more about some new tools and resources that we're going to have available for 2020. So going into next year, I wanted to show you across the board some of the changes that we're making because we've really tried to align our portfolio, our network approach for growth in 2020. So across all of our regions, we did file for rate decreases. So you'll see that specifically in Central and Northeastern Pennsylvania. Those are really great areas to sell individual business in for next year. So more on that soon. But as well, we're trying to pursue the marketing, distribution, and sales capabilities. Hopefully, by now you've heard of Health Sherpa, which is an online enrollment capability that we just launched for special enrollments, so that our producer community could get accustomed to using the program, so that come open enrollment, you're comfortable submitting enrollments through there. It really does lend to efficiencies and shortcuts in enrollment, particularly the on-exchange piece, because we know it can be pretty cumbersome getting applications in that way. So I'll say as well, we've tried to really offer more competitive commissions across all regions. I know Deb will be sharing, if she hasn't already, more information on that with you, but really trying to engage our producer community again. So as far as our benefits and plan designs go across all of our regions, really trying to focus on offering free benefits where we can. For instance, this year we're going to have $0 telemedicine visits on all of our plans, so that's something new. We've also, tried to focus in on what our customers are looking for, what our sales channels think will work well in the market, and of course, those are offering plans with lower deductibles, with more set copays prior to the deductible. So we have a few new plan designs that we'll be offering. We have a gold $0 deductible plan, and then a couple off-exchange plans that we've added, particularly HSAs. Good news is, with our current membership, nobody's being discontinued. We will be renewing all members going into next year. So, nobody's going to be without a plan if they're a current Highmark member. Skipping down to Central Pennsylvania here, we have priced our MyDirectBlue EPO plan to acquire new members. So when our rates, when you're able to see our rates and quote, you'll see that we are between 7 and 20% below the next lowest cost issuer. So, in this product portfolio, we're going to be the lowest cost plan. In addition to that MyDirectBlue EPO, we are launching a new plan, and it's going to be available in all 21 Central Pennsylvania counties. It's a broad network plan. It's an EPO, but it does contain all hospitals in Pennsylvania as a network, and it also has Blue Card. And, price-wise, it's going to be more expensive, obviously, than our MyDirectBlue EPO plan. However, compared to the competitors, if people are willing to pay a little bit more to get that full, network access in Pennsylvania and nationally, then it will be a good fit for those folks. So competitive still, when you look at the competitors, realizing that they have more narrow networks oftentimes. And then with Lebanon County, we are expanding the MyDirectBlue EPO portfolio completely into that county. So that's another change there. And then in Northeastern PA, we are moving the HMO to an EPO product, and it will have Blue Card on it. So we'll get into more regionally specific items soon here, but wanted to give you that overview and wanted to kind of show you that across all of our regions, we do have a growth strategy, and we have a plan in place to grow membership and to, lend our producer community some efficiencies when we look to next year. Okay, so across the board, I mentioned we have some more plan options available. Again, trying to zone in on what people are looking for. And then network options, particularly in Central and Northeastern PA, where we're able to offer more choice. If somebody's looking for a more narrow network or a broader range, we now have that available going into next year. We do have some plans that will have the $0 Tier 1 drugs included. And then I mentioned the $0 telemedicine. If you're not familiar, Amwell is our telemedicine vendor that we partner with. So these benefits are through Amwell. And again, that's on most, if not all of our plans. And then with the primary care visits, we are offering more plans with those $0 visits. It's usually up to 2. And again, just trying to look at the portfolio and keeping in mind, lower deductibles and more set copays when we could do that. So those are some of the key features across all regions, looking into next year. Okay, so we'll move on to Central Pennsylvania specific information. I'm going to give you an overview of some of the key updates. We'll look at MyDirectBlue and a couple updates there. We'll talk more about MyBlue Access, which is that new broad EPO plan that will be available in all counties, and then just generally an update on Blue Card and how it stands with our portfolio available for next year. So I mentioned the premium. So current members will see a significant decrease, and then of course for your clients that are shopping for next year, they're going to see that Highmark is one of the the lowest cost in Central Pennsylvania with the MyDirectBlue plans. So the ACA Select Network, this is, if you're not familiar with it, the network that the MyDirectBlue plans are on. It does span Central and Western Pennsylvania. Just wanted to point out that, with this network, we did add WellSpan Good Samaritan Hospital as in-network. And then with the MyDirectBlue EPO plans, I mentioned that we'll have the full on and off exchange portfolio available in Lebanon County for next year. MyBlue Access EPO, which is our broad new product, will allow members to access, hospitals in Pennsylvania and then nationally through Blue Card. So this product will have the most access available to, your clients that are looking for that in the plan. Just to give you a clearer idea, we talked about MyDirectBlue, we talked about MyBlue Access being available in all 21 counties. So, with MyDirectBlue, again, if you're familiar with the current network, not a lot of changes there besides the WellSpan Good Samaritan being added. Really best for people that are looking for the lowest cost plans, members that utilize those facilities within the ACA Select network, or willing to switch for a lower premium. As you know, this year we didn't have Blue Card on the Lehigh Valley EPO. That's going to change for next year. So I can tell you that with the MyDirectBlue EPO plans, including Lehigh Valley, they will all have Blue Card available to members who travel, have kids that live out of state in college. With MyBlue Access EPO, again, this is the broadest network available. So somebody that's looking for that broad, access, including all hospitals in Pennsylvania, and then of course with Blue Card. I put this in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is a list by county, of our hospitals within the ACA Select Network for the MyDirectBlue plans. Again, it spans Western and Central Pennsylvania. You can see you'll have this list available, of course, when all of our literature comes out on 2020 plans. So just to show you as more of a breakout, this just lists by county the MyDirectBlue EPO plans available, and then, more specifically, the MyDirectBlue Lehigh Valley EPO within those counties, and of course, MyBlue Access, our new plan, available in all central Pennsylvania counties. Oh, I know this is probably tough on your eyes to look at, but this gives you an idea of our portfolio across all of the counties within central Pennsylvania. Don't worry, you'll be getting this soon, but I did want to kind of give you a snapshot of what the portfolio is going to look like. I know it seems like our plan names get longer every year. People often ask why they're so long. I'll tell you the reason why we've included some of these details, like the free primary care visits and such, is that we realized a while back on healthcare.gov and other websites, it was very hard to tell what the plan offered. You had to kind of really dig down into the details. So, we thought, hey, in order for people to really know what their plan includes, let's put it in the plan name. So that's why oftentimes our plans are 2 sentences long. But now there's a method to the madness. So I did want to just show you, this. Again, you'll have more details on what's coming. We do still have, as I mentioned, some plans that are available off exchange only. We'll talk more about Health Sherpa here towards the end, but I wanted to just mention that with Health Sherpa, enrollment is really on exchange only. They don't have the ability to accept off exchange applications. So going into next year, we're opening up the paper application process for off-exchange plans. Of course, we'll take them through our Highmark sales portal, but also, we'll pay commission on the paper apps as well, because we want to make it as easy for you all as possible to submit enrollment. So just a little bit more background on that. Okay, and Blue Card, good news. Going into next year, as I mentioned, it's available on all plans in central Pennsylvania. And I'm sure you all are familiar with Blue Card, but it really does provide access to 95% of doctors, 96% of hospitals across the country. I know that, again, you're pretty familiar with it most likely, so you don't have to remember next year that it's only available on certain plans, or not. In central Pennsylvania, it'll be available throughout the region on all of our plans. Okay, so we'll move into Northeastern Pennsylvania. Again, I'll give you a couple of key updates. We are, as I mentioned, moving that HMO plan to an EPO plan, so Priority Blue Flex EPO for next year. And then give you, of course, a couple of network updates, talk about Blue Card and how it impacts Northeastern Pennsylvania. Okay, so my Priority Blue Flex plans across the NEPA region will have significant premium decrease. Again, it's about 10% in Northeastern Pennsylvania is what the decrease is. So we're excited about that. Current members will see that drop in their premium. And then, of course, people that are shopping, we'll see that we'll be really competitive in the region next year. So the EPO will replace the HMO. I do want to point out that anybody that's currently enrolled in the EPO, in the HMO will be re-enrolled into the EPO plan, so nobody, again, is losing coverage. And then for the My Priority Blue Flex EPO, that will include in-network access to both routine and emergency care through Blue Card when they're outside of Pennsylvania. So we'll talk more about that. Again, I put in here, we still have the tiering in Northeastern Pennsylvania. You'll get this, as well in the materials for next year, but just wanted to point that out in here. Alongside the hospitals in Northeastern Pennsylvania, there is access to the ACA Select Network within Pennsylvania. So again, this is that list that I included in the central region that's here. So the EPO plan available in all 13 counties, off exchange only in Lycoming. We will have the Miley High Valley HMO available in Monroe, and that's off exchange only. We don't expect a lot of enrollment in that plan. Just being, completely honest with you, we're looking. The EPO is available in Monroe as well, and oftentimes it'll be priced, sometimes competitively, if not cheaper than the HMO plan. Okay, and again, this is the portfolio available in Northeastern PA with the EPO, and you can see the counties that's available in, of course, offering the Miley High Valley Flex HMO plan in Monroe, which is off exchange, and then in Lycoming as well, the off exchange bronze plan that's available there. Okay. So Blue Card, again, members are covered for urgent and emergent care anywhere, and that's with all of our plans. If you weren't aware of that, the EPO members will have the full in-network access to benefits under Blue Card. It's where it doesn't come in is with the Lehigh Valley HMO. So I just want to point that out is the Blue Card is not available as far as routine care on that plan. And then, obviously the same stats here as in the other on the other slide. So don't need to get into that, but that is the Blue Card update for Northeastern Pennsylvania. So those are kind of the full, key updates, again, focusing on what's changing, where we're going to be competitive, as we look to next year. And then I did want to get into more of, on the marketing and enrollment side, some of the changes that you'll see there. I didn't want to pull in a lot of benefit details. Honestly, those are going to be coming out this week. So you'll be able to, take a look at some of the benefits on these plans and go through them yourselves. But again, wanted to point out where you'll see the differences on deductible, on copays, on a couple of the new plans being offered. So when we did take a look at marketing for next year, again, we had a lot of conversations with consumers and our sales channels as well, saying, what's working well, what's not. Found that if you've seen our brochures, this year, you're well aware, the brochures were rather cumbersome. They included benefits and rates. So oftentimes they were, 70 plus pages long. This year we are going to break out the benefits and the rates separately. So no need to flip back and forth within one brochure. You'll have those broken out. And we are going to work with Deb and making sure that you guys will have access to printed materials, which is something we haven't done in some time. So we'll be printing those brochures for you and the rate guides. The other piece, and I know it's very hard to read, but we created a new Plan Compare brochure that's going to be available. That's going to launch before the actual benefit grids and rate guides, just due to some approval processes that those are going through. So the Plan Compare brochure is really meant for you when you sit down with your clients to get a starting point with them, because I know, going online or even looking at the benefit brochure sometimes is cumbersome because there's a lot of material, a lot of benefits to go through. So this focuses on the most popular benefits that people utilize and really does a plan compare, side by side. You can take a look at things that matter most, like deductible, out-of-pocket maximum, some specialists and visits and those types of things. Obviously, drug is pulled in as well. So hopefully it'll help you narrow down, your search, maybe narrow it down to a couple plans that you can then dig into more detail on as far as quoting. So I'm expecting to launch that with the training this week. So you'll have access to that. Again, not the benefits and rate guides till probably, we're trying to make this happen as soon as possible, but it might be still a week and a half until we have those ready to launch digitally. And then, of course, we'll have the printed materials available. Okay, so I mentioned Health Sherpa before. We're pretty excited about this capability. I'm hoping that if you haven't already set up your account, hopefully after this webinar, you'll be enticed to. It really does save time. That's one of the biggest things that we heard when we were out there having conversations about some of the changes that we should look at making for next year, is people were fed up with the amount of time it takes, particularly with the on-exchange piece and eligibility, to put through an application. So Health Sherpa has been around for several years. They actually handle online enrollment capabilities for other carriers as well. So we did a lot of research as far as deciding who we wanted to partner with for this capability. They are able to offer what's called enhanced direct enrollment, which is something that we weren't able to do in our sales portal. It gives quicker, more efficient connectivity with healthcare.gov, and it eliminates that redirect that if you were at all familiar, I know, if you were on our site, you'd start on Highmark, you'd go out to healthcare.gov, sometimes you wouldn't make it back to our site, and a lot of other carriers have this issue too, where people dropped going from the Highmark site to healthcare.gov and back and forth. So, that's not the case anymore. It really, aside from that, you can quote, you can enroll, you can maintain, change applications and upload documents, for your clients on your client's behalf throughout the year. So that was something that was a selling point as well, because you don't have to send people to healthcare.gov to make sure they have their documents loaded. You can facilitate on your client's behalf, or you can even send them a link that explains to them how to get on their customer dashboard and do it themselves. So along with that, there is a plan recommendation tool, which is based on, there's a couple of questions on utilization. So it'll at least guide you on the path of making a couple recommendations for your clients. So as well as that, the CMS-based documents are accessible, so you have more visibility into some of the renewal notifications and things that CMS facilitates. Dashboard reporting was a key, I think, selling point to us, because it's something that we haven't had available on our sales portal. So it will help you track leads, track members, statuses. It'll point out if somebody's missing a document that needs uploaded. So you'll have more visibility into your clients you've enrolled or leads that you're working with. And then post-enrollment, I mentioned you can make changes. So adding a spouse or a newborn. You can also send the communications out. There's a list of emails that you can access to send from the site. For those of you that use this capability, there is a marketing link that's included. So if you're working with somebody that says, hey, I just want to kind of look what's out there and shop on my own, you can send them a link that then is tied back to your credentials and your NPN, so you would get credit for the sale. So I know some people like to use that functionality. It is available through Health Sherpa. And then, of course, with special enrollment applications, we're excited. We didn't have that capability through our site for the SEP business. As you know, if you've gone out there to sell Highmark business, you were either directed to healthcare.gov or dropped the paper if it was off exchange for SEPs. So I encourage you to go out there. I know we've got some instructions available that we sent out through Litmos. I will tell you, it's very lengthy. We don't think that you necessarily need to go through that. It's really intuitive. If you go out there and get your account set up and start quoting, you can most likely walk through it without having to reference the 80+ page document that we have out there, but it is there for reference if you need it. Okay. So I mentioned training. Hopefully, we're launching in the next day or two, where you'll be able to, it's going to be a lot of the same things I went through here with you, but we've built in some knowledge check questions that'll help you become more familiar with the portfolio. If you've taken our training in the past, it's been very long. we've included, again, a lot of benefits and things that in talking to our producer community, we realized you guys are used to looking at benefits and working with your clients on how to understand benefits. We don't need to put all that content into our training. Let's focus on why Highmark, a more sales-oriented approach, making sure you understand some of the key changes, and then, of course, the value proposition of going with Highmark. So we are doing a lottery for an Amazon gift card. So we have 5 per region, $100 gift cards that if you go through the overall product module and then a region-specific module and pass the quiz, which, by the way, is 5 questions. It's a knowledge check where you'll go through and read scenarios and then decide what plan you would recommend based on the scenario. So if you score 100% on that, you'll be entered into the lottery and you'll get a chance to win the gift card. Because we really want to try to encourage folks to go through the training, especially because it's not as long as it has been in the past. So look for that this week. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of materials coming in the next couple weeks. I mentioned the training and the Plan Compare guides or brochures for you to use this week. And then as we get farther into October, we'll have our benefit and rate guides available, digital, and then of course we'll work with your team to make sure that you've got printed materials available as well. So that's all I had to share with you today. I hope you found that information helpful in trying to gear up for this coming open enrollment period, and we can open it up to questions, Deb, if that sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Christy. So we do have some questions, and if you have any that you didn't get a chance to type in, go ahead and do that now, or if you want to raise your hand to ask Christy your question live, I can accommodate that as well. So first question is from Kelly. With the blue card, does that allow members to utilize Reading Hospital and their physicians?
Yes.
Okay. Is the testing available yet? Barbara asks, and that's a no, correct?
Is the testing available? Oh, the product module? No.
That's the end of this week or the following?
So I'm hoping we're going to launch the training in a couple days, within the next couple days. So that'll be part of that process.
And that's not mandatory, correct, Christy? It is not mandatory as it has been, the ethics questions have been in the past.
It's not mandatory. We really are trying to encourage it, which is why we're doing the lottery. But no, the only thing that we mandate is, of course, the Highmark appointment, right, and then the CMS, marketplace certification, and that's to sell on or off the exchange. I know some carriers only require it for on exchange, but we do require it for both.
And that goes right into Nancy's question, if FFM certification is required to sell off market, and indeed it is. The compensation that will be paid, Nancy and everyone that is listening, is $20 per member per month for new business. That is folks that have not been enrolled with Highmark for a period of 6 months or more, correct, Christy?
Yes, correct.
So that is $20 per member per month, capped at $5, and then renewal is $10 per member per month, capped at $5. We actually had the ability to split that 20 and 10, 80-20, and we've decided to not do that. As many of you know, URL used to, hugely support the individual block, and we still, of course, support the block, but in a hands-off sort of approach. So because of that, we didn't feel that taking that 20% off of the 20 or the 10 was necessary. So again, $20 for new, 10 for renewal, and that's capped at 5 per application. Is training required by Highmark? Jim asks, and will the Priority Blue Flex EPO have a standard and preferred network?
The Priority Blue, so Deb, do you mind repeating the question?
Yeah. Will the Priority Blue Flex EPO have a standard and preferred network? Probably a standard and enhanced is what they may mean.
Yes, I was going to say, yes, it will. So that slide, a couple slides I showed with the tiering, that's going to apply for the EPO. Yeah, we weren't able to do away with the, the tiering in Northeastern PA. It's the only region we still have it, and it will exist for the EPO.
Let's see. If I have a college student, will the Priority Blue Flex EPO in Monroe County provide coverage out of state for the college student?
If the EPO in Monroe County, not the HMO, will
Correct.
have the blue card, yes. So
Okay.
yes, they will have access to the routine in-network benefits there.
So here's a bit of a question, and it's always been kind of hit or miss, but how does re-enrollment work with a new agent? So if an agent has sold a Highmark case and they're currently on the books and another agent comes in and they want this other agent to sell them, would that agent take over the case and be paid a renewal, or will that case always be the original agent?
So it will be paid as a renewal. However, if there's an active application put in the system, then it would switch to the new producer on the application as the producer of record.
Okay, all right. Hopefully that answered your question, Deborah, but if you have additional, or if I totally missed the gist of your question, go ahead and type some more. Let's see if anyone has hands up.
I did want to go back to that Reading question because I was thinking more about it. And with the My Direct Blue, the more narrow network, Blue Card is available and can be utilized for emergencies and such. But if somebody wanted in-network rates at Reading, then they would want to go with the broad EPO, the new My Blue Access plan. Okay. So I just want to clarify that those are different. The My Direct Blue still has the narrower network. It does have access to Blue Card outside of that. And then, of course, for emergencies and urgent care. But for somebody that wants the full access to hospitals inside of Pennsylvania, then they would want to look at that My Blue Access EPO in Central. Okay.
Good enough. All right, that's all of our questions. If no one has any additional questions, just wanted to thank you all so much for joining in. Thank you to Christy for putting on the presentation and giving us a snapshot into what we can expect in, a few weeks, a couple of weeks. We're here to support you, my agent partners, so please give us a call and shoot us an email with any questions that you have. We're getting ready for the sale season, so, we're here to help. That's it. There are no other questions. So again, I thank everyone for joining in. Christy, I thank you so much for putting on the presentation, and I wish all of you a great balance of the day and a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Deb. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.